Good morning, Facebook family. My name is Reverend Ed Tansey, and I, along with Reverend G. Stewart, welcome you today to our Sunday morning talk. As many of you know, we are located on 50 Dudley Street in Cambridge, Massachusetts, so I invite you, if you're ever in the area, please come and visit us sometime. Here at the center, we learn and we practice that wonderful philosophy called the science of mind, which is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. And it was Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, who, after studying many of the different religions, philosophy, and science, and used from them what he felt would assist humanity to live that bliss-filled life, that joy-filled life, that harmonious life. So I invite you to visit our website, cslboston.org, to find out more about our fabulous community here, our fabulous spiritual family, this phenomenal philosophy called the science of mind, and see how our community can serve you. And I ask that if you are being spiritually fed by our message this morning, please consider including us in your prosperity circulation or tithing practice with your tax-deductible contributions that you can make right online. Rev G, myself, and our spiritual family here in Cambridge thank you in advance for your continued support of our vision, fostering a world that works for all creation. So the 2019 Center for Spiritual Living theme is spirituality in action. And the theme of the month is empowerment. I protect the vulnerable. And my talk today is titled Heart-Centered Social Engagement. Next slide, please. So, social engagement refers to one's degree of participation in community or society, the extent to which an individual participates in a broad range of social roles and relationships, and participation in collective activities. So, concerning social engagement, each of us has a choice in relation to the many different avenues that we can go down in regards to how we show up in society. Some avenues, some ways of showing up are positive, and not only for the individual, but also for society, for humanity. Some avenues an individual may choose are negative, where their presence, the way they are showing up in a society and participating in these collective activities with this negative consciousness does not bring about what is best for the individual as well as for society as a whole. So I believe it's very important, it really is important, for one to have an understanding and a realization that whatever energies that they bring to others as they show up and be present, it most certainly has an effect on them. Then this energy has an effect on humanity collectively. So if an individual wants to make a difference in the world and has a positive effect, it behooves us, it behooves one to be rooted in love, because as we know, when one is rooted in love, this energy, this love one has for themselves radiates out to all of the world, starting on a one-to-one basis. It goes out to one, then another, then another. Then the rippling effect occurs concerning this energy as it goes on to the next person, and the next person, and the next person. So you see, coming from love, and showing up in the world from this state of being automatically uplifts humanity. It really does. So here is a quote from 365 Science of Mind about active love. And it says, when we let the love that is within us go out to the God who is in all people and the divine presence that is in all things, then we are loving God with all our heart and with all our soul and mind, because we are recognizing that the spirit within us is the same spirit that we meet in others. This is loving our neighbors as ourselves. This is loving our neighbors as ourselves. So this act of love, and we all know that it begins with the individual first. Am I correct? Yes? Okay. Being love, being rooted in love, which is one of the many gifts that our Creator has given to each of us. Love. And this is part of our nature. Every one of us. Part of our makeup. Love. Part of who we are at our core. When we say that we're one with the divine, it is the nature of the divine, the nature of God that we are one with. And love is part of its nature, therefore it's part of our nature. You'll always hear me say, love is God and God is love. And the greeting namaste that many of us use means that the same spirit in me recognizes the same spirit in you. The love in me recognizes the love in you. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. So the reason I'm bringing up active love in relation to social engagement really is because it's so necessary and beneficial to be coming from that state of consciousness when dealing with others. Because social engagement, when it is centered from the heart, it's like a mobilization of individual energies into communal power, providing a way to support a world that works for all, from the individual to the collective. And we know that that is a part of the Centers for Spiritual Living's global vision, as well as Center for Spiritual Living Greater Boston's global visioning. It is. So when an individual is out there participating in life, the more people that can come from that heart-centered place, the more high the vibration, the more high the frequency humanity experiences. And believe me, energy has a rippling effect. It really does. And when an individual is out there participating in life with an energy that lacks love, this energy too infiltrates humanity. It really does. Now, it's up to each individual. What do you individually want to share and spread with humanity? What do you want to project from yourselves? What do you want to accomplish for all of humanity? What do you want to give? What do you want to give to humanity? Those are some things I ask you to think about. You know, the first principle that we study as religious scientists is oneness. Oneness with the God of our understanding. Oneness with each other. Oneness with nature. And it's this oneness that brings about a wholeness, and that The foundation of this oneness is love, as I've said before, and it is this love that strengthens the bonds of oneness in relation to social engagement. And it behooves each of us to be heart-centered and come from that place of love and come from that consciousness. I'd like to share a passage that comes from the book of the month for June that was written by Terry Payton, from his book, A New Republic of the Heart. And I take this right out of that book. When we emerge from the isolating trance of our fragmented subcultures and begin to act with others with the understanding that we really are all in this together, something important happens. We enter together into a profound shared experience. We enter into a new consciousness, and creativity, that are not available to lone individuals. No one, regardless of their enlightenment, can be what many of us can be when we awake together, united in consciousness, vision, fellowship, care, and purpose. That was right out of his book. So the degree one moves into the realm within and connects to that point where one realizes the allness of the divine, the allness of God, the more a person will really identify with fellow human beings and come from that place of kindness and compassion in relation to all of the many challenges experienced in this material world, challenges that could include poverty, discrimination, injustice, and that's only to mention a few. So the more one explores the unseen, think about it, the more one is able to see through the eyes of God. The more one is able to see through the eyes of love. And what does that do? Thus we see our common humanity and the bonds of community. Yeah. So activating the God quality of power from that place of love is the creative process in action. And we know that whatever we impress, right, on the law, that is what it gives us. Whatever we impress upon it, that is what we experience in our lives. Thus, from this love, social change can be activated by the mobilization of the individual energies into a communal power, which I know I said earlier in my talk. And when we join together with others on this path of change, positive change, we can change the way the dynamic power manifests in all of our communities, in our greater communities, in the world. So you see, as all of us live together in society, as we work together in society, in our relationships with each other and the world as a whole, I really feel we have a very important task to do. And it is to aid humanity in ways that are positive, in ways that are uplifting, in ways that are nurturing, ways that lift the vibration for the individual and collectively. And I really feel this is a responsibility that each and every one of us has. A responsibility to ourselves as well as to each other and to all of humanity. This is no matter where one is located, no matter what one's political, religious, or any other beliefs are. We are all in this beautiful expression of life this beautiful expression of the divine. We're in it together. We are in this together. We are in this. And please, let's not forget that as we live our lives. Let's not forget that. All together, we're in this together. So social engagement, it begins with a belief in oneness. Would you agree? It really does. You see, social engagement isn't a product of one's faith. It is not a product of one's faith. It isn't. But it's one of its many dimensions. It's one of its many dimensions. And it is so, so essential to one's spiritual health. Would you agree on that? Do you think that's essential to your spiritual health? Think about it. Okay? There are so many ways a person can positively connect with others, to create, to demonstrate, and to share more and more of the positive energy that I was talking about this morning. So 2 ways one can accomplish this is from interfaith work and broad-based community organizing. 2 very, very positive and powerful avenues. Now, some people who use the power of their position in the community, let's say to get things done, there are some people, like the business owners, the wealthy families, the politicians. They know how to use their power. Now, other people in the community, ones who might not be business owners, might not be wealthy, or might not be politicians, they might believe that they don't have that same power. But all, and I'm going to repeat this, all have the same use of that power that is divinely ordained. That is divinely ordained. So when churches, spiritual centers, organizations, and institutions in our communities work together, more greater power through love and the sharing of individual challenges and successes will manifest. More power manifests. Now, when humanity does this, when they do it little by little, each will be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with our city, state, town, and country leaders using this power based in love. Now, social justice work, okay, is one of the many avenues for the vibrational uplifting of humanity. It really is. Now, I am also aware that when we do social justice work, a heightened sense of difference, otherness, despair, and at times anger can rise up. It is social engagement that is love-based, social engagement that is heart-based, that brings a person back to the spiritual experiences. And that reveals a clearer path and a more harmonious and inclusive path to improved conditions in not only their lives, but their lives, the lives around the world that we all share. So social engagement and spiritual experience need each other. They need each other. The result of positive social engagement resulting in social change comes from that intersection of the spiritual inner work being done by that individual and the practical outer work that is inspired by our ownership of love and oneness. Oneness and love. Owning that. So, Here are some people that came to my mind as I was putting this talk together. People who were such living examples of being heart-centered and heart-based in their social engagement. Slide. Mother Teresa. Would you agree? Next. Lady Di. Oh. Next. Martin Luther King. Each of these magnificent, thank you, expressions of God doing so much to lift humanity by their work, by their activity, by the causes that they involved themselves in. The individual lives that their presence had such a positive impact on. Loving, supporting, nurturing. That's what these people did. These three people made such a difference in our world that when I think of them, my heart is always full of joy and love and gratitude whenever they come to my mind for all the good that they did. Now, there are many other people, not as well known as these three, who do a lot of good. There are so many heroes, as I call them, in the world that are just so uplifting for everyone. Now, on the flip side of this, I can look at people who just have the opposite effect on humanity. People like Hitler. Hitler, who was so separated from the God of his understanding that he brought about such heinous actions of destruction and death toward others that you all know about. And then today we can look at some of our current leaders who definitely are not heart-centered in relation to their actions that they exhibit toward humanity. By their comments, by their policies, by their presence. Not positive energy at all. Okay? In fact, they are fostering everything opposite positive energy and for what is good for all of humanity. So, you have two sides of that coin. You really do. So because each individual is so important in the creative ability for peace and harmony and love and inclusivity here in this vibration, here on Earth, I found this reading that I've turned into an experiential, for me, that brought forth the importance of each one's presence here on Earth. And I discovered this from the Science of Mind magazine as Rev G and I were doing our morning practice. You read that every morning. And it was dated June 25th. And I said, I would like to turn this into like an experiential because it just touched my heart. So what I invite you all to do at home and in the sanctuary, I invite you to close your eyes. Get comfortable in your chairs. And I'd ask you to take in some breaths, some gentle breaths, breathing into that hot sanctuary, that inner space that is quiet, that is peaceful, that is supporting. And I ask you to open your mind, open your hearts, to be receptive of all that I'm saying in this meditation. Breathe deeply again, sit back, and listen. If not for you, there would be a place of emptiness in the heart of God. If not for you, all the good you have done would still need doing. If not for you, the spark of your ideas would not have ignited fires in others. If not for you, the key role you have played in life's drama would remain unfilled. If not for you, at least one person would not have awakened to their dreams. If not for you, your triumphs could not be examples to inspire others. If not for you, someone who needed love would not have received it. If not for you, a life would have been shortened or never have existed. If not for you, the song of life would have missed a beat. If not for you, your gifts would remain ungiven. If not for you, another might have suffered in your place. If not for you, someone would have no path to follow. If not for you, there would be one less smile, one less laugh, and one less hope. If not for you, there would be one less ember of love to warm the soul. If not for you, an animal might be homeless and a garden left unplanted. If not for you, something would be missing. You have always made a difference and continue to make a difference. You are an important part of every day. You are the face, the heart, and the soul of God. You are magnificent. You are love. I ask you to just breathe in again. And gently and slowly come back to the present. Now, my call to action for this week, that I'm asking you to think of ways that you can ground in our teaching, hot connect with others in the world, and collectively bring, reveal, and manifest a better world for you individually and collectively for all of humanity. Will you accept my call? Yes. Namaste. So what I would like you to do now, I'm going to say a spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of prayer. And what I would like you to do is close your eyes for this part again. And the purpose of this prayer this morning is that each person recognizes the importance of being socially engaged, coming from a consciousness that is love-centered and heart-based. And coming from this purpose this morning, I know that there is one infinite, eternal energy. This light energy that is in, through, and as everything that is seen and unseen. This energy goes by many, many names. God, Allah, Buddha, whatever resonates is important for the individual. And to realize that this presence is all that there is. And its nature is love, peace, harmony, balance, creativity, wisdom, intelligence. This is the nature of the divine. And this nature makes up everything. It makes up who I am. It is in my core. It is at my core. It has been given to me. I am one with this energy. I am made in the image and likeness of this energy. I am inseparable from this energy. And as this is my truth, I know from the depths of my being that this is the truth of every creation of the Creator, and each one is a creation, uniquely expressing the divine in their own beautiful, unique way. And each one is so connected with the divine, with one another, with nature, with all of humanity. And it's this interconnectedness that brings about that strong foundation of love and oneness. And from this, there is a wholeness that is created. And I say that web of love is strengthened every moment by the collective energies of all of the creations of the divine. All of the creations of the divine. And now I speak my word here this morning knowing that as each one comes from love, that as each one comes from being heart-centered in any engagement socially, that it's their presence individually that lifts together with everyone else the vibration of humanity, so that each one can experience the bliss that life is, the magnificence that life is, the joy that life is. And as each one lives from that loving consciousness and shares their energy as it goes out to the world, I see smiles on people's faces. I see people walking in confidence and in peace just by their outward appearance. And it's a beautiful sight to see. The beautiful smiles and that look on people's faces, knowing their presence is important. Their presence makes a difference. Their presence is uplifting humanity. And I am so, so grateful that I know this truth for all. That I see this truth, feel this truth, and that I proclaim this truth right here and now for each and every person in the world and places unknown. I am grateful. And I release this prayer into the law, knowing that this is done immediately. Once it's released into the law, it is done. And please join me by saying together, and so it is.
Thank you, Rev Ed. Inspired. He's trying to rush ahead of us. We got to do our affirmation, right? So this comes to us from Reverend Jeff Staten, from Associate Minister at Credo Focus Ministry. So let's read this together. I see the conditions in our world that are a call for prayer and action. Together in oneness we join hands, hearts, and minds to co-create a more kind, loving, and abundant life for all. Ooh, I love that. Yes. Let's do that one more time. Yeah. I see the conditions in our world that are a call for prayer and action. Together in oneness, we join hands, hearts, and minds to co-create a more kind, loving, and abundant life for